Have you ever wondered if lesbian U-hauling is actually real, or if two women can really be saying I love you after just 2 weeks of knowing each other?
She asked me to move in with her. I said, yeah. Oh my God, that's the most lesbian thing you can do.
Well, yes, it's real, and I'm going to explain the neuroscience behind how this happens and how you can avoid renting a long-term room at Heartbreak Hotel. I'll be using my lesbian dating survival guide because dating should not be harder than coming out. We'll be diving into Chapter 6, UHaul University, Chapter 3, How Orgasms and Oxytocin Betray You, and Chapter 1, Wired for Connection, the Sapphic Brain Explained. And yes, for those of you asking, the downloadable version is coming. I'm working on it. It's a slow process. So, two women go on a date or two and realize they have a strong connection. And because there's a sense of physical and emotional safety with two women, it's easy to just say, hey, why don't you come over for the night? They might stay up all night talking and other things, and now this one date turns into a 24-hour date. Welcome to lesbian math.
I told you your eyes are brown, but when I look into them, I can see the whole visible light spectrum. We should go to Europe.
My cousin volunteered.
Because women tend to feel physically safer with each other, physical affection and sex can happen quickly, and this is where the Oxytocin Express begins. So oxytocin is known as the love hormone or the bonding hormone, and it's released through physical affection and in very high amounts after an orgasm. Women tend to release more oxytocin than men, and studies show that they also experience a longer lasting effect from it. Estrogen amplifies oxytocin's effects, making women's brains more sensitive to it. And this is also backed by science. Lesbian women report more orgasms than straight women on average. So if two women are bonding and having orgasms together, that's a lot of oxytocin. Take a look at this graph. The horizontal line is the number of orgasms from 0 to 30 plus. The vertical line is emotional attachment. At first, you're as cool as a cucumber, but as the number of orgasms and cuddles increase, so does your emotional attachment, and welcome to the Oxytocin Express. Now let's go over to UHaul University. Chapter 6. The orange line is emotional intensity and the blue line is rational decision making. And the time here is from 0 to 6 months. In the first few months, while you're cuddling in bed, making your playlist for each other, emotional intensity is really high and rational thinking is barely hanging on. Why does this happen? Because love isn't just magical, it's biological. When we fall in love, the brain releases dopamine, and this activates the reward center, and at the same time, the frontal lobe, which is responsible for judgment and reasoning, it takes a back seat. This is why we say love is blind. We literally can't see red flags during this time. And this early stage is often called the honeymoon phase. When people feel like they've met the one, they might say things they wish they could take back later. We'll just say that. Here's the thing, this phase is normal and natural. It feels really good. And you don't have to try to stop it, but you should be aware of what's happening in your brain and your body so you don't rush into long-term decisions while your frontal lobe is still on vacation. Now, how many of you have been stuck in a lease with your ex because of this? As time goes on, the emotional intensity drops and rational thinking returns. Now, I always tell my clients you don't truly know somebody until you've known them for at least 6 months, at least. The honeymoon phase typically lasts 3 to 6 months, and sometimes this is longer if it's a long-distance relationship. After that comes the uncertainty stage, where flaws are revealed and couples have conflict and are learning to navigate that. And here's a key truth. Physical affection does not equal compatibility. If you get emotionally attached too fast, consider slowing down on activities that flood the brain with oxytocin, especially orgasms. This is how oxytocin in orgasms can betray you. You might be bonding to somebody who's not good for you. And breakups, they can be brutal when you're chemically bonded. And that's the lesson for today. This is how we end up with U-Haul jokes and how we end up stuck in leases that we can't get out of. Please hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.